You're listening to the Casual Swinger Podcast. As your hosts, we need to warn you that the material you're about to hear may be sexual or explicit in nature. This podcast is intended for an adult audience. Now, we don't expect you to act like adults. What's the fun in that?
We're a married couple living in Florida with over 13 years of experience in the lifestyle, and we take almost nothing seriously. Casual Swinger is a variety show, meaning we'll cover everything from music to events, travel, and even the occasional hilarious screw-up. Our show is about entertainment. We're not licensed professionals.
Not anything.
And our stories, commentary, and guidance should not be confused with the opinions of a licensed professional.
Now that you know, let's take those pants off and get comfy.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Casual Swinger. My name's Mickey.
And I'm Mallory.
And the other guy?
Hey, I'm Stack.
Yeah, that's Stack.
How the fuck did you get in here?
Random fucking guy in
No
our
idea who
studio.
let me in.
Well, we need to change the code on the garage. Random
Yeah,
people
you
just
definitely
wandering
do.
into the studio.
I just start picking up strange men off the street.
Oh, that's not the first. Everybody here who knows you knows that happens all the time. Hey, is it me, or does it feel like this season has lasted for fucking
Holy
ever?
fucking shit. I feel like this season has spanned 2 years.
Yeah, I think it actually has been most of 2022 has been season 4. It's not supposed to be.
Yeah,
Our seasons are supposed to run, well, I guess. I mean, 22 episodes, that's 42 weeks, 44 weeks. Oh, my math is not good.
Your math is okay.
Well,
It's good.
it depends on whether you want it to be right or not. If you want your math
Well,
to
I
be
wouldn't recommend you becoming a CPA, but it's decent.
right. If you want to get audited, let me do your taxes. I think that's fair. Anyway, so yeah, obviously this is the season finale. This is season 4, episode 22. We call this one, We Are Casual Swinger.
Yes, we is.
No, see, you're as bad at grammar as I am at math.
I blame it on public education.
Well,
Oh.
I'm definitely not casual swinger, so
You're something else.
yeah, exactly.
You're something
haven't
else
even-
entirely.
We haven't even grazed the surface
I don't
yet.
even know what I am.
All right. If you guys haven't figured out, there's a random guy in the studio today. We're going to talk about that here in a couple of minutes. We call him Stack. He's also the host of the Things We All Carry podcast that we've talked about a little bit on Twitter. We're going to get into that here in a few minutes when we talk to him and find out about what he's got going on before we talk about some of the other things we've got going on. This is not your normal Casual Swinger episode. I don't think we really wrote shit about this. This one's more about just kind of putting a cap on the season and telling you guys where we're headed. Any thoughts on that, Mallory?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot in the hopper right now, a lot of great things, including, for example, our Hedo trip.
That's a big one.
That feels like it's around the corner, but it's, I don't know, 8 months away, 7 months away?
I don't know. It's not enough time
Yeah.
for me to get AIDS and actually be in shape. Because that's what
Oh,
it's going to
stop.
take for me to have abs.
Stop it. Hedo's one of those places it doesn't matter your age, cut, creed, like any of that. Like once you're there, we're all equal, and it's fucking phenomenal. I love that place. It's heaven on earth for me.
Okay.
If
well,
I believe
I'm going to need you to
whatever.
lock me in the attic and not let me into the fridge between now and when we go to Hedo.
We're not.
Just leave me up there to starve.
I can't even. I'm not confident on
this.
that.
Well, some shit has happened, right? Obviously, since the season started and what took forever, which I think was probably the longest goddamn season in the history of ever, which we've talked about before.
Yeah,
But
and
you
we're
started a little thing that OF thing that was big.
I'm of a certain content creator now.
Oh, you're a woman of a certain content creator.
Yeah,
Is that what we call it?
yeah.
Not of a certain age.
I'm maximizing my milfiness. I'm making that MILF money, if you must.
She's a hoe on the down low, folks.
Well, no, I'm definitely not on the down low. I wouldn't call that on the down low.
I was
anymore.
gonna say I don't think it's on the down low.
no,
No.
that's public hoedom.
Yeah. We were taking out a billboard off of I-75 at some point.
Right.
See.
Right next to the God billboard.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be great.
Well, in between
right
them.
on top of it.
But
Yeah,
it'll
God,
also be-
guns, and Mallory.
yeah, guns. And don't forget to stop at south of the border.
That's right. And while you're there, pick up your Mrs. Milford
That's
pin
on
that you
95
can,
though,
Show,
so.
show your appreciation for your MILF next door. No. Anyway, we launched a Hedo trip, which we're going to talk about a fucking lot in this episode. So if you hate Hedo, you hate us, you hate what we're doing, you hate what you're talking about, you hate when people talk about trips, just turn this motherfucker off now because we're going to talk about it a good bit when we get to the
Wow,
episode.
that was a lot of negativity.
There's a lot of hate there.
No, I'm just
So
saying.
I told you in the other room to leave the hate behind.
It's not hate. There's people that hate when I just said hate. There's people that genuinely dislike when podcasters talk about their trips. And we're not trying to sell the trip per se. I just want people to know what they're getting into when they come with us. So it's not hate. I actually love when we go on trips. We've been going to Hedo for a very long time. There's a lot of people that do desire trips and temptation trips and all these other trips. And for me, I feel like it's a big deal. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. 2 PCAPs happened this season.
Yeah. This looking back on this year, we had 2 PCAPs. That's right. We had a spring and a fall. That was both of them were absolutely fantastic.
I didn't fall at either PCAP. I was sober most of the time.
I definitely fell at least once, but that's just of my nature.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
We
Casual
had-
Toys keeps growing like a
Oh
fucking
my
weed.
gosh, Casual Toys, and thank you everyone who continues to support this toy store. It's definitely, especially Mickey's, like, I don't want to say life's blood, but like you pour your heart and soul in that, and customer service is something you're definitely were born to do. Like it's just second nature to you, and I know people appreciate that. So everyone that continues to support it, thank you so much.
I'm a little maniacal about it. It's a little crazy.
The fact that you said a little makes me giggle. You are maniacal about it, but I appreciate your passion.
I'm the
And
Oprah of
our
customer
customers do
service.
too.
You get free shit. You get free shit. Here,
Yeah.
you have some stuff.
Yeah, you're a terrible business owner sometimes, but I
so
love you.
bad.
I love you for it, though. I really, really do. It makes you an even better person. But
it's fun though.
Yeah, and looking back on that, we had a fucking grandchild.
We did.
In this
a goddamn
season.
grand spawn.
How the fuck did that happen?
That child will never be known as
you
a
need to
grandchild.
ask how it happened.
I mean, no,
You got on the
that's
wrong
fair.
fucking podcast for that.
Well, I mean, they do have an endless supply of condoms, so I
That's
do
the thing
know
that
how it
bugs me.
happened.
That's the thing that bugs me. So the grand spawn became a thing. The last thing I said to the casual child that left this house, and you know
Casual
her well.
Caitlin?
I do.
Yes,
Yeah.
Casual Caitlin. She works for us in Casual Toys. And by the way, we didn't hire her in Casual Toys until after she had the grand spawn. I'm like, well, fuck it. Now I know that you're having sex, so here. But the gist of it is the last thing that I said to her when she left Florida to move back to our old stomping grounds and be with the person that created the child with her. And we like him. He's a good kid.
We do like him, actually.
Yeah, he's actually great. I just don't want to call him out by name on the show. But what I'll say is the last thing I said to her was, don't get pregnant. And it was the first fucking thing she did.
It was inside of 30 days. I'm not I'm laughing now because in hindsight, it's a little ironic and funny. But
No.
we both
Nothing
know-
about it's ironic or
yeah.
funny.
But let's be honest, that little biped, our grand spawn runs the fucking roost. She calls us and wants a pony. She gets 2. Pick your colors. Like
I'm
it's
gonna find a
happening.
pink pony because it's coming.
Yeah.
Like, now that little fucker's cute, and I'm really excited about it. We started out young, so I'm not too worried about it. And by the way, if you think that we're old because we're talking about our grandkid, go ahead and call us. Call us old when it happens to you
Yeah.
because we started young. We started
Literally.
very young. So
I can relate. I can relate a lot.
how?
My
You-
4 grandchildren.
I mean, so I'm under 40. You're barely in your. I mean, you're in your 40s, but
I'm
like
really solidly there
it's
now.
still
but I
it's
still don't feel
fairly,
old.
fairly fucking young. You were in your 40s. When
I
you
was
had-
44
Yeah.
for my first one. Yeah.
It's a little weird, but like
44 years old, and you were like, "How the fuck am I 44 years old and a grandfather?"
Yeah. And now I'm trying to figure out how you guys are 40 and grandchildren or grandparents.
Yeah, it's
well,
fucking
we
insane.
are not 40. He is.
Hey,
Well, you're close
each-
enough. We're
I
gonna
mean,
call
I'm
you 40.
looking at it. I'm waving.
Yeah, we're calling you 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're
Uh,
fucking not.
I'm with him on this one.
I'm allowed to say it, so whatever. You're 40.
The average between us is 40.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Well, I'm stepping out of the room, so fuck you both. Now the average has gone up tremendously.
Tremendously, you're correct.
So the grand spawn happened. We started young, blah, blah, blah. But there is one more big ass thing that I think is kind of happened here at the end of the season and going into season 5, which we're going to talk about today.
Mhm.
It's Faces Out.
Yeah. Yeah, we're putting. Well, I mean, my face is kind of out there, but like not.
I don't know that your
as-
face is what people are looking at, Mama. I'm just saying.
Ouch. Okay.
Whoa,
Thanks.
Now look at them titties. Those
I
things are
mean-
amazing. They're
Fair.
bigger than a whale's eye.
I like what you did there. No one else will get it. My son said that in a bra section of a department store once, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. It was hilarious. The comparative at 2 years old just still blows my mind. I digress.
Titillating orbs.
Yeah. So
Fun
why
bags.
faces? Yeah. Are we going to get into why faces out?
Yeah,
why
jugs.
now? Why not?
Yeah, we'll get into it. This is the coming out party for it. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. But yeah, Faces Out now. Faces Out season 5. We've done a couple of Twitter posts of Faces Out, and a few people have noticed. They're like, oh, hey, look at that. Faces.
Yeah.
And actually, matter of fact, I actually posted a video of yours the other day from your Mrs. Milford account that I had just kind of tagged you in.
Yeah, the one that TikTok decided to take down.
Yeah, TikTok's like, fuck her. Boom, she's gone.
Hurt my feelings so hard.
Yeah, she got sad about
I
it.
didn't even know I could get upset with social media like that.
But my favorite part was people were like, wow, I've been wondering what she looked like forever. And she's just as hot as you said she was. I'm like, no fucking shit. You guys think I'm a liar. She's a lot hotter than me.
I'll agree with that.
Now, you're sitting in the room.
Yeah.
She's a lot hotter than me.
Yeah.
It's not even close. I mean, there's me, and then there's you on another solar system of hot. I got it. I understand this.
Okay.
All right, so what else is new? Let's talk about Casual Swinger Week for a minute. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more because Stack, who's with us, has actually been with us since the beginning of our new Hedo journey. So I've been going to Hedo since 2001 because I'm old. We've covered that. Fuck you, dude. But we're going to talk a little bit about kind of this group Hedo journey we've all been on and what has changed and kind of, you know, I think it's good that he's here and he's not a host on the trip like
Corn-fed.
the Corn-Feds were. Thank you.
I know you're
Derek and
savvy.
Jess. Yeah, it was just-
you're like Iowa corn.
Iowa corn.
Love those
yeah.
guys. Hot as
Good
shit.
people. Yeah.
Association.
Yeah, so he's not a host. He has been there with us. He was there with us when we were learning how to host. So I think it's going to be a fun conversation as we get into this.
Oh yeah, they were. Oh, I cannot wait to get into the dialogue about having drinks on your porch and talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, this is
we're
gonna
all
be great.
it's all going to be a big full circle, kind of like Mallory's titties that are big circles and fun to play with. But what?
I keep going.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the Hedo trip just before we dig into this, because I don't want to talk about sponsors during the actual episode. But these boxes are fucking nuts, right? The companies that have stepped up to help us and trusting us with their brand as we try to bring you guys something that's truly lifestyle by lifestyle creators and a little different while we're at it. Who are we talking about here, Mel?
Oh my gosh, the list is constantly growing, and I'm so grateful for this. People like shamelesscare.com. And this is a site where you can actually get testing for STIs before you go from the comfort of your own home. And they also do ED medication shipped to your door with no doctor's appointments.
Yeah, I think it's super cool. And they're actually a kind of a derivative and kind of grew from youngcouplesparties.com, which is the hottest party for young couples in the Chicago area. And they're coming with us on the trip.
Yeah, they are. YCP.
Yeah, so YCP, a good number of YCP people are going to be there. A bunch of them have already booked already. So shout out to our YCP peeps that are coming out.
Yeah, and this week you just talked to the folks over at Sport Sheets, which I could hear, and unfortunately I wasn't able to join the call, but I could hear the conversation from the other room. There was laughter and a bunch of good conversation that were going on, and it sounds like the company that has a growing Kingster need for the bedroom is going to be contributing to these wonderful boxes as well.
I think they're going to be a big sponsor for us. But my best thing I love the most, is they're like us. Like they're just good people.
Yes.
And I don't mean we're good people. I mean, they're people we want to be like.
Well, they make a great product because I can say I own no less than 3 or 4 of their products easily that I use on a regular basis because like the positioning aid, they make something for like doggy style that like is a strap that goes underneath your hips to help hold you up. Because like if we're different heights and like my femur length versus your standing length, sometimes doesn't always work out. That little extra like pull. And plus to have that zero gravity effect, I won't get into it because I don't want to get horny now because I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, well, Sport Sheets is just the bomb. I mean, from positioning aids to dildos to strap-ons to hog tie kits to blindfolds to cuffs, they got everything under the sun, and we love those guys. But you guys have heard us talk a million times about another one of our major sponsors for this particular box. And by the way, this shit goes on forever. But Uberlube, best damn lube, period. If you haven't heard us talk about Uberlube, just try it. Trust us. It's amazing.
Please do it. It does actually change the quality of sex and masturbation you have.
Oh my God.
It really does. I didn't think it was possible because I'm a habitual masturbator and a sex fiend personally, but it changed a lot about the way I have sex.
I love that Uberlube. There's just no cleanup. It just soaks into your skin. You're good.
Well, and you make the joke about it. You would come 3 times washing it off.
Yeah, with silicone
it's a
lubricants.
natural moisturizer, so you don't have to worry about any of that bullshit, and it's not going to fuck with your pH.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. What about Oxballs?
Cock accoutrements for every guy.
Accoutrements.
I'll tell you what, that is a fucking sturdy ass cock ring that they make, and
Oxballs are the
the
bomb.
breadth of product they have available for that is outstanding.
Well, Oxballs and Hunky Junk are the same company. So Hunky Junk tends
that's
to
right.
cater
Yeah.
to the LGBT market, and Oxballs kind of it's a lot of it's the same stuff. But Oxballs and Hunky Junk both, guys. If you like cock rings, you like cock slings, kind of anything that just kind of outfits your junk, that product is the fucking bomb. I love Oxballs.
Yeah, and I'm really excited that Neva Nude is sponsoring the box too. Those are some of my favorite pasties. They have a full breadth of different pasties, from the standard like paper type or latex type to like the bedazzled.
Yeah,
And they're and again, high quality.
they're awesome. And also hair ties and braids and extensions and all kinds of crazy shit. Like, if you guys love theme night apparel, Neva Nude is going to be the bomb for you. And of course, what about Playhouse LV? Coolest club in Vegas. We love that
Oh my
place.
gosh.
Some of our favorite
love
people.
those guys. They throw out one hell of a party.
Yeah.
So if you're out in the Vegas area and want to check out a lifestyle club, highly recommend those guys.
Yeah, mention our name. Get a good seat.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
right?
the public bathroom.
Yeah. And who else is sponsored? I mean, we got the obvious, of course.
What about casualtoys.com?
Yeah.
Casualtoys.com is going to provide anybody that books on Casual Swinger Week with a gift certificate to help you guys buy some shit for your theme nights. However, if you happen to buy ED meds or you buy the trip package from Shameless Care, we'll double your gift card that we're going to give you.
So we're doubling down on being like responsible. And
That's right.
Yeah, I love it.
You guys are going to do the right thing. You guys are going to work with one of our sponsors. We're going to make it easy for you. So there's a lot more to come for Casual Swinger Week. But if that sounds like a lot, we haven't told you the half of it.
Oh man, we're just trying to keep this short and succinct, and it's really difficult to do. So stay tuned, and if you have any questions, make sure you shoot us a message at podcast@casualswinger.com. We're happy to answer those.
Please do. And right now we have a few, at least, of most of the room categories. We've sold out of a couple.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 or 3 room category types that are going to sell a lot quicker than the rest. So if you're interested, again, message us to have more questions. We also have the booking link on our website.
Yeah.
So
that's on casualswinger.com, right at the top.
Yep. Go to travel with us.
There it is. Well, travel with us, or right at the top, it says Casual Swinger Week at Hedonism II. It's a big fucking link all by itself.
Yeah. Big banner, big sign.
Big. Hey, you know one of my favorite things about this trip before we let this go and move on?
What's
you get
that?
a 3% discount if you're a first responder or a veteran.
Motherfucker.
We're the only group that I know of, anyway, that's actively promoting a discount for first responders and military.
Thank you, Wet Travel. We appreciate
Wet
you.
Travel's the one that started that shit, and they don't even talk about it. They just do it because they're good people. And we're like, you know what? We're going to let everybody know that we're doing that shit because we partnered with World Exotic Travel. So if you book any World Exotic Travel trip and you're a veteran or you're a first responder and you show them, they'll give you 3% off your trip, which is fucking awesome.
That's
so way to
amazing.
go, guys.
Yeah.
So last thing before we get out of here, we're going to be at the end of next month in Nashville, Tennessee with We Got a Thing.
Yeah, Viva Nash Vegas. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Let's go see some bachelorette parties because we didn't see enough of that shit when we were there a couple
I actually
weeks
saw
ago.
more bachelor parties, which God bless me on Broadway. I'm pretty sure I'm in somebody's TikTok out there.
No, 100%.
Looking
There's
at
some
you only,
titties.
Annie.
Right? I actually remember that little jiggy dance
Yeah,
you did.
I had a few drinks. I was
think you're
feeling
fine.
good.
It was a
anyway, but it goes to show that you should book early if you're, in the We Got a Thing universe there, because their shit sells out so quickly.
It does. They sold it out already.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we're not going to be there for a few days. So if you happen to be in, Nash Vegas and want to give us a shout, say hey.
Hi.
We support these guys at We Got a Thing through the Sex Toy Chat, which we love doing, by the way. Our We Got a Thing humans are some of our favorite humans everywhere. They're a supportive and amazing group. If you're not part of We Got a Thing, check them out at wegotathing.com. Their community includes tons of supportive people, lots of content, lots of information, and of course, their educational seminars that you can do that teach you a little bit more about getting into the lifestyle if you're new. So just a great top of the funnel type group. We love We Got a Thing for that.
And it's holistic. That's how I describe it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's the reason why I call them the royalty of this space. I think that they do it right. They do it better than the rest of us, and if we can do it like them, we'll do better. So,
Excellent. Good stuff.
They're amazing. Hey, let's bounce out of here and come back with our friend Stack. We're going to talk about his podcast.
Yeah, we put him in a corner for a few minutes.
He's
Sorry
in a
about
corner,
that.
Just sitting there.
I feel like
quiet.
I've been punished.
I think you like it maybe a little bit.
You're
You're not used to being on that end.
Yeah, I'm not on that end. No.
Punishment's a different podcast.
Yeah, but I'm not on that end.
No. Okay. Well, we'll be back in just a bit. We're going to talk about his podcast. That's The Things We All Carry. And also, we're going to talk a little bit about our Hedo trip and what's coming in season 5 for Casual Swinger.
I'm coming.
No, you come all the time. Speaking of, hey, Mallory, you want to tell us where can you find Casual Swinger if you haven't figured it out in 4 fucking seasons?
Well, thank you, Bob. You can find us as Casual Swinger everywhere. That's casualswinger.com. Feel free to shoot us a message at podcast@casualswinger.com. We are on social media. That is YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, believe it or not. We're also on the dating sites if you want to check us out there. That's Cassidy, SLSSDC, and Double Date Nation.
And that'll get her done. We'll be back in a hot second. You've been listening to Casual Swinger.
And welcome back to Casual Swinger.
You got it right.
I got it right.
Way to go. I'm so proud
good.
of you.
I know. Me too. Can I have a cookie now?
You're a real girl with real
I
boobs.
am. They're really mine.
All right. So, you know what? We started this episode talking about your OnlyFans, which I feel it's only appropriate now to talk about hoes. So let's talk about all the hoes that our guest talks about and pulls on today.
I don't pull on any hose, but nice try.
Oh, no, you don't pull on hoes anymore?
No, not anymore.
All right, so at one point in your career, you pulled a lot of hoes.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay.
And you're not a gigolo. We have to clarify.
Yeah, please clarify that.
Okay.
Yes. It's a byproduct of the job, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, just yanking on hoes.
yeah.
Just yanking on
And
hose.
hanging out with dudes.
All right.
Hanging out with dudes and sleeping in a room with 4 dudes or 5 dudes or
All
even
right.
6 dudes.
That's
So
a lot of
now I
farting.
really have to clarify.
Yeah, go
All right,
ahead.
ladies, hold on to your panties. We have a firefighter in the house.
Bonafide.
I know. Just wait.
Legit.
Mm-hmm.
Serious. Real deal. Yeah. So tell me this. Are all firefighters Adonises, or do some of them look like me?
Some of them even look like me, and that's even worse. So there you go.
That's fucked up.
That's
Do
not
not judge my taste in men.
Yeah, you actually all of our profiles suggest that firefighters go to the front of the line.
Literally, firefighters are first runner. It's the bottom of our profile. Like you get special consideration.
That's
Right.
because we're very special people.
Extremely. From my experience with you, I'd say you're a very special person.
My mom always said so.
Mama said. That's some high quality H2O.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh.
That's all right. So tell us a little bit about your podcast, because
that's
and
right.
honestly, I got it. Before he gets going here, guys, I really want you to know I'm mocking him because we're friends. I'm not mocking him because I don't believe in what he does. I think that, the first time we had a conversation about you starting this podcast, I was passionate about it from the minute you said something about it to the point when you sent me your first podcast.
I want to say that it was universal. I don't know how many people you asked. I know under this roof, it was a universal. Fuck yes, that's an amazing idea. Please, God, if you can do it.
Yeah, that shit needs to happen.
I think that, Mickey, you've been a supporter from the beginning. I mean, you jumped on it right away, and you encouraged me to do it, and I checked with other people, and I got the same kind of encouragement. So the show was born out of the fact that we see some shit every day, and I just want people to realize they're not alone. So the show's called The Things We All Carry, and I based the title loosely off the book by Tim O'Brien called The Things They Carried. And that book is a short story collection from Vietnam. And it just talks about these guys going into war, and they're carrying whatever weapon they had, whatever radio, whatever aid bag, whatever it is they carried into war, they carried with them. But then it focuses on what they carried out of war. It talked about the emotional scars and the physical scars. And so The Things They All Carried is just that. It's talking about, yeah, we carry things into a call, into a fire, into a medical call, but we also bring these memories and these, for lack of a better word, scars out of a call. Mm-hmm. So we run. I don't want to bring everybody down because there's some very serious calls we run, including involving kids, and we come out of a house and it affects us. Mm-hmm. And so those are the things we carry coming out. And so I would just want to bring that to light, and then also share how people are recovering from some of these traumas and some of these very serious I don't want to say disorders, but there's PTS, which is post-traumatic stress. And it's a story of recovery more than the story of the traumas.
Well, I really love that you're normalizing a subject that is taboo, which is, if we have to draw a parallel, it's kind of what we do too, but you do it on a totally fucking different level. Like mental health, up until, I don't know, last 6-12 months, it really doesn't catch fire. Like it doesn't catch fire in social media or coverage or is discussed socially. It's actually not acceptable in most circles to discuss that kind of stuff, but it really fucking should be, because you'd be surprised how many people share similar experiences and struggles, especially the demographic you're talking about, firefighters and first responders, because the shit you guys see most of the time, you're interfacing with people on the worst day of their life.
Yeah, and it sounds cliche to say it, but it's true, and it is the worst day of their life.
Mm-hmm. So,
however, we see the worst day of somebody's life repeatedly, and I think I shared with you this afternoon that little statistic that we saw, that if you run 2 stoppages, which means that you're doing CPR twice in, I don't know, a month over a span of a career, that's 400 and something stoppages or dead people you're working on. Well, 2 of them in a month is unrealistic in a big department. I mean, I know people that are running 2 in a day.
I was going to say 2 in a shift.
Yeah, 2 in a shift, and so it's a 24-hour period. And you've got 3 in a tour, so you're looking at 6 in a tour, and you add that, you extrapolate that out towards a 20 or 30-year career, and you're seeing a lot of death.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's
got to go somewhere.
Yeah, and it's not a lot of discussion around how people deal with that and still live healthy and productive lives.
Well, and that's kind of my goal, is how do we get through these careers? How do you mitigate a career and still come out on the other end healthy mentally, physically, and emotionally?
Well, and I think there's been a lot of conversation over the last couple of years, rightfully so, about our veterans coming back from overseas, what they've seen, what they've encountered, the loss of their brothers and sisters, just these things that happen as part of just doing the job. Now, one of the things that I've seen through the course of our relationship, because a lot of times you'll share a story with me, and I'll use the word hero, and you get mad at me it's fucking instant. You get you literally, the wall goes up. You get irritated with me when I use that term. And I think I've seen the same thing with veterans that I know that get upset and they go, I'm just doing my job. And I think that you do that. Our law enforcement friends that we know do that. Our veteran friends that we know do that. But they come back here and they're expected to just go back to living their normal lives. And veterans do that when they come back at the end of a tour. You do that at the end of a shift. And you have a wife and kids and friends that expect you to pretend like you didn't just scrape brains off a fucking sidewalk.
It's one of the things I like to, or not like to, there's one of the things I've been trying to cover in the show is, how do you go home and explain to your family that I need about an hour just to decompress, because you don't know what happened. Yeah, we sleep at work. Obviously, we work 24-hour shifts. We, in air quotes, we sleep. We don't really sleep, because even if you get up once, that affects you for the rest of the day. And some people are getting up, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 times a night. And once you get home, you're not ready to deal with kids. You're not ready to deal with your wife. You're not ready to deal with whatever the day is going to bring. And so part of the show is trying to teach people how they can take some time for themselves.
So mental health is something we've not talked about enough in this country. It's definitely getting more attention. And I think attention is part of mental health, by the way, for children in particular. But when we talk about mental health and we talk about the things that you guys carry, one of the things I like that you do in your show, and it's kind of your hook, at the end of each of your episodes, you ask your guest what they carry into a call. What are the things they carry?
And it's not even into a call. It's just an everyday carry. Something you want to carry, something you carry with you every day that if you don't have it with you, you're going to feel naked.
Awesome. What's yours?
My everyday carry? Good one. I actually discussed this on an episode today that I recorded in your house. It normally is a Skulls for Hope bracelet that I wear on my wrist. And Skulls for Hope is a great organization bringing suicide awareness to the forefront. Lately, I haven't been wearing it because I got poison ivy from it. And so what I told my guest today was, I do acupuncture when I go through my therapy sessions. And I go through I just recently started therapy for myself, and I do it once a week. And the acupuncture is all in my ears. And so when before she starts with the pins, she puts a little bean on the back of my ear. So each ear has a little acupuncture bean on the back of it, and that's my everyday carry right now. So when I get into a moment where I need to just kind of, if I'm stressed and I want to just kind of calm down, to remind myself to breathe, to remind myself to meditate, to remind myself to just take a minute, I reach up and I squeeze that bean that's right there on my ear. So I either do it on one side or both, and it just reminds me to take a second.
Are you on the spectrum? Because that sounds oddly.
We're all on the spectrum. If you want to get into another
I was gonna say
profession
that's
of mine, we can talk it.
Another episode.
Yeah, we
'Cause
can talk a
we
whole
know-
nother profession.
Yeah. Literally the one before this one for you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
firefighting is much safer than working with kids with autism.
Yeah, right. So
heard
that's
your
just
stories,
a little
yeah.
bit of our friend Stack, who obviously is doing something that I think matters, and I think it matters a fucking lot. Stack, why don't you tell folks how to find your podcast, how to find you, and how to find people like you, because I think it's important before we move on with the fun part of this episode. I wanted to start with this because I feel like
Yeah. Usually we
This
do
is
at the
huge.
end, but I think at the beginning it doesn't service. Yeah.
The main spot to find me is on Instagram, and it's the things they all carry, and it's at the things they all carry on Instagram. You can also find it. The website is thethingstheyallcarry.com.
okay.
And those are the two main sites for the show.
Where do they find your podcast if they just want to listen to it?
Yeah, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, where all the major markets.
So anywhere you find Casual
Yep,
Swinger.
and YouTube.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. So thank you for that. And let's kind of move on a little bit. Not that I
Yeah.
want to move on from that, but when I talk about scraping brains off a sidewalk, I feel like we need to talk about fucking and sucking. And
Yeah,
doing all
let's
the
talk
other
about
fun
something
All
stuff.
right.
more
Hey,
fun.
yeah, let's really fuck with everyone's heads out there and just like fucking 180 this
All
shit.
right, on with the sexy
Yeah.
stuff. So we are Casual Swinger. That's this episode, right? What's changing? What's going on? Where are we at? What world we live in? Mallory, do you want to just kind of take this and run with it? Because fuck if I
mean,
know.
I think right now our heads are I mean, aside from putting our faces out there, is on this Hedo trip and making sure that we create an environment for everyone that I don't know that we experience when we go there, because it's our favorite place on the planet.
That's definitely part of it. So before we really dig into that, I get questions online and on our socials sometimes, and they say, "What is a casual swinger?" Or "How do I become one?"
Is this where I stand up and melodramatically say, "I am a casual swinger"?
I like the melodramatic angle. That's like from the '80s, like holding up a boombox and going,
Yeah?
"I am."
Oh,
a casual
John
swinger."
Cusack.
Yes,
right.
I totally had Say Anything in my head. Thank you.
So I think in this episode, there's nothing wrong with telling people who we are and what it is that makes us who we are. I think there's nothing wrong with that at all. I think that we have tried over 4 seasons to make a podcast that's a little bit different than all of our peers and the people that we respect and admire. And they do some really, really good things. It's funny. I talk about podcasts that talk about sex, and I say porn for truckers, but I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Truckers need porn too, right? And I give you a great example. There's a podcast that's going away that I love. It's That Couple Next Door. Jay and Kay make a great show.
Oh
but
my
it's
gosh,
a show
incredible.
about their experiences.
It is, and I mean, her voice.
Oh yeah, sexy as fuck. That girl's got nipples for days, and they're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't see them, you can talk about them, you can hear about them on the show, right? They're a great show.
Yeah, her voice though. Her
Oh,
voice.
yeah,
Right?
Her voice
Yes.
is deadly.
Mhm.
And then there's shows out there that talk about how to swing and teach you how to swing, like We Got a Thing, who we talked about our respect for them earlier. I feel like we've always been something different. We are Casual Swinger. That's who we are. And Casual Swinger was meant to be different from the day we started. It was meant to be a variety show that was never about any one thing. We're sitting here talking about firefighters and first responders and their mental health
Yeah.
on an episode where we're also talking about a Hedo trip.
Yeah.
Welcome to our show. We are Casual Swinger.
Well, I think you laid it out a couple of times throughout the seasons and said, we are swingers. We're second generation swingers,
We
and
are.
it's part of who we are. It's not a hobby for us. It's inherent. But we are more than just that too. We are many things, including that. Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah.
We have some T-shirts that we did a run of that said "Keep it casual," and we went down to Hedo and we gave away a bunch of them.
We did.
And there was a woman that came up to us and she handed me the shirt back and said, "I can't wear this because I'm not a casual swinger. I'm a hardcore swinger.
Girl, more power to fine.
Rock on with your slutty ass self. Get you some.
I'm a slut too. I get you.
I don't know. I think my interpretation of what you say casual swinger is you swing the way you want to swing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
It's not hard and
That's
fast
exactly
for
how we
us.
feel about it. It's do you.
Yeah.
Right.
And don't let someone else tell you how to do it, much less us in our T-shirt.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
By all means, keep it hardcore. That doesn't, one of the things we have been hosting at Hedonism for a long time.
Yeah,
And
going on
7 years.
7 years.
And one of the things that I always tell people is if you want to be one of us, the easiest way to do what we do, the easiest way to be one of us is look at the person to your left, look at the person to your right, and remember that we all got here because somebody was cool to us.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was good to us. Somebody was nice to us. Somebody invited us to be a part of their conversation, to be a part of their good time, and to be a part of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be a casual swinger, start there.
Yeah, being friendly doesn't mean you have to fuck them.
I can vouch for that because I know that I'm a weird spot when I go to Hedo because I'm an introvert. And these
Just
two
a Hedo?
these two
Just a Hedo?
Yeah, well, not just a Hedo, but it's a weird spot for an introvert to be.
It is.
And these two extroverts sitting in front of me kind of took me in as one of theirs. And so it is true. Look to your left, look to your right. There's somebody that brought you in.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it's sweet you think I'm an extrovert.
You are.
More than he is.
Yeah, definitely more than you are, for
You
sure.
are.
The chair you're sitting on is an extrovert compared to him sometimes.
That's very fucking true.
really is.
Fair enough. I'm actually,
You saw it
I'm
twice
probably,
today.
I'm sitting here looking at both of you, and I'm going, I'm definitely somewhere in the middle.
Okay,
for
that's
sure.
fair enough.
Well, I
For
mean, come
sure.
on. If you're talking about extroverts, I am obviously
You're the
other
most
side
pure
of the
form of
spectrum.
it.
Oh, you're called flaming.
You are
Yeah.
the most pure form I've ever
Fucking
met in my
flaming.
life.
Yeah, I'm like the moon is about to collide with the earth level extrovert.
Yeah.
Like it's like
So
you
much
can't
so.
miss it.
Yeah.
Right. That's definitely true. But let's talk about Hedo and our experience here a little bit because we launched Casual Swinger Week just before the last episode. And Casual Swinger Week is April 1st through the 8th in 2023. And this is a seismic shift for us because we've talked about doing it for the longest time. And we knew when we did it, it was going to create waves. It was going to be a thing because we've done it for a long time with friends of ours because we love them and we still do. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't think there is. I hope there's not. And if they feel that way, I hope they don't, honestly. But it was time for us to take the people that feel the way we do about the lifestyle and life and friends and friendship and sex and do something together.
Well, and it's not just people that exist, but people who are out there that would enjoy that as well.
Yeah.
Just opening the doors and going, okay, this is what we're right. This is what we're doing. It's very inclusive. Please join us if
That's
you
right.
want to.
Yeah, it's all walks, all ages, all sizes. There's an ass for every seat. That doesn't mean that every person on the trip is going to be your jam or you'll be theirs.
Yeah, and we're not promising puppy piles or anything like that. It's just a very organic experience.
That's right. There will be no sponsored orgies on this trip. I'm sorry, Stack. I know
out.
you're sad.
Shit.
Yeah.
All right, never
Yeah.
mind. I
Yeah.
want my deposit
Yeah,
back.
it's not an official agenda item. That's how I've put it. Like if it happens and like there's an orgy party, fucking A, live our best lives.
Yeah, right.
However, it's not a scheduled event.
No, it's not. But what I'm getting at here and kind of what I'm angling toward is to ask you as our guest. You were
So
there the first time that someone handed me a microphone and said, "Let's throw a party."
And we threw a party.
And we threw
a fucking party.
Eh,
It was one hell of a party, and it's still one hell of a party with and without us. I think that they've done a great job, but we did something. We started something. What was different about it? What the fuck did we do that made this thing catch fire, in your opinion?
I think it was what you said in your I don't want to call it a diatribe, but your monologue there. It was the all inclusive part.
Yeah.
And Mallory said it as well. It's all inclusive. When we threw a party or when we had a pool party, we had an event, we pulled everybody in from the sidelines. It didn't matter if you were part of a group or not. You became part of a
That's
fucking
what I
group.
love the most. Yeah.
Right. You didn't shy away from the stragglers. I'll go back to my own show for a second, and that's just a selfish plug. But I talk about I have the tattoo that says "Sinners Welcome," and it just, to me, that means everybody's welcome. I want to take everybody in. I don't care what your life is or what you are about. And it doesn't matter if you're on the outskirts of society. I want to learn your story. That's what we did.
Yeah. Nobody here is too good for you.
Right. And that's what Hedo is about, and that's what it should be about. And some of those groups aren't about that, but you made it about that.
You know, we were sitting on your porch drinking whiskey, trying to think up games.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about some of those games here in a second.
Still the notebook somewhere.
Oh
Yeah,
my
there's a
God.
notebook with games in it.
Yeah.
Those are,
And things we thought of.
those are some of the best laughs I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, those are pretty good nights.
Literally we're sitting on this back porch. You had a beautiful view of the Shenandoah Valley at the time.
Depends on what time of the year it was, but yeah.
Yeah.
I will argue that.
Okay.
Because there were times like
Oh,
when the
Valley.
leaves were
I meant
gone.
river. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like fuck. Like
Yeah.
those were incredible.
Shenandoah River from your place
But-
in the winter, if you wanted to be outside freezing your tits off,
Right.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
But one of the things we talked about that has stuck with us to this day, we actually did it at Podcastapalooza with Kate all 3 times that we've been a part of her event. And God bless that girl for letting us be a part of her event because we love it. We always say no closed circles. I don't know if you remember we had that conversation because one of the things in the lifestyle that people tend to call cliques is a group of people standing together, and they stand so
Yeah.
closely together that you can't get in.
You can't break your way through.
So we would go through and break up the circles and go,
Right.
hey, open this shit up.
Right.
Open this shit up.
Right.
Invite people in. You got here because someone didn't do what you're doing right now. Do you remember we talked about that on the
We
deck?
did. Yeah.
And we're not trying to grenade anyone's
No. But at the
cock
same
block 'em or
time,
anything.
you might find your next best friend because your back's not turned to them.
Right.
That's true.
And that was a big deal for us for starting this Hedo trip, that we don't want to close people off. We don't want to tell people you can't do this.
Right.
I felt like that mattered. I feel like it still does. I feel like it still happens. I still hear that group sucks. They're cliquey. That means that they didn't meet anybody and they're upset and they feel like something's wrong with them.
Well,
Yeah, it's a matter of acceptance.
It is. And that conversation goes 2 ways, right? Like, did you make an effort to introduce yourself? Like, and if there's somebody you want to be introduced to and you're not comfortable, then that's when I'm more than happy to be wingman 100% of the time. There's someone you want to be introduced to. I don't give a fuck if I know them or not. I got you.
Yeah.
Like I am totally fine breaking that up or walking in and giving you the assist.
Yeah. You know, we were at an event in New Orleans recently, and we did a session at the beginning talking about just success at an event.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the room rather, why don't you walk into those circles? Why don't you walk up and say hi? Why don't you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a girl in the back on the left. She had dark hair, and I don't know her name. And if she happens to listen to this podcast, darling, I'm thinking about you right now. And I told you I loved you when you said it, and I meant it, because it took balls. It took brass balls. It took bigger balls than maybe I've ever had in front of a group of people, and I'm a public speaker. She said, there are levels to this game, and I'm not on the same level as these people. I can't walk up and talk to them because I'm not on their level. And my girl was curvy, and she had long, beautiful brown hair and big, beautiful eyes. She had so many things about her that were valuable.
Mm-hmm.
But what she saw was that she didn't belong.
Mm-hmm. And am I crazy? But didn't we discuss in that same conversation that she decided to make their minds up for them and not give them an opportunity to do it themselves?
Yeah, we talked about that in our regret episode recently. We talked about that in probably the last 5 fucking episodes, because I think that interaction hit me like a sledgehammer in the stomach, right? But I think that's one of the things that we're trying to fix with Casual Swinger Week. And it doesn't mean, by the way, because I'm not a little dude, right? I mean, anybody that was in that room, I'm not a little guy. I don't have perfect abs. I don't have perfect teeth. I don't have perfect hair. I don't have perfect anything. But that doesn't mean I don't think I belong.
I think that's a misnomer about Hedo, though. Nobody has perfect anything.
Yeah.
So fuck it.
Dude, I got to tell you something that happened a couple weeks ago, because this shit's hilarious. And no one that listens to this episode, if Mallory wasn't sitting here, wouldn't believe it.
Oh God, I don't know what's coming. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
But we were doing a thing recently with some friends, and there was a playmate in the circle that we were hanging out with, a legitimate playmate.
True story.
This is a true story. This happened.
Apparently, it's a true story.
Oh, it fucking is. God strike me dead where I sit.
Top
This
5
is a true
hottest
story.
moments of my life.
Oh, top 5 hottest moments of my life. So I'm filming, right? I'm the cameraman, and I'm just kind of doing my thing, and I'm in front of this playmate, and her husband kicks me in the arm, and he goes, "Hey, pull up your shirt and rub your belly." I have a belly. Okay,
I'm not kidding. Okay. I have to give some more to context. Okay, 3 hot blondes back to back on a stripper floor, masturbating at the same time.
Okay, that's what the fuck it was. I wasn't going to say that, but that happened. 3 girls back to back on a stripper pole masturbating with dildos. That's where we were.
I can't make this shit up if I tried.
This is my life, Stack, by the way.
No, you're not hurting.
3 of the hottest women I know back to back on a single stripper pole masturbating with dildos. Continue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's it.
Oh, that's it. It's the end of your story.
It's back to you.
Oh, back
sir.
to me now. Okay. I don't know how to top that. Nothing I say is going to make
No,
that better.
no. It's coming. I know it's coming.
Oh, it is. I know what's coming. So I get this kick in the arm, and it's her husband, and because he's standing on, because I'm on my knees trying to shoot, and he's above me standing on like a countertop or something, and he kicks me in the arm, and he goes, "Pull up your shirt." I was like, "What?" No, she's a playmate, and she's more or less hot as screaming fucking fire and balls and brimstone, and no. Matter of fact, I'm going to put on an extra shirt.
No
to
thanks,
make
I'll
sure
pass.
Yeah.
You got a parka I can wear?
Right.
Oh,
you have
wait
some
for
sort of
it.
wall I can put between her and I so she doesn't see me. And he's like, "No, pull up your shirt." And I'm like, "What?" And so finally he goes, "No." And so he actually acts this out for me. He pulls his shirt up and starts rubbing his belly, and he goes, "Do that." And I was like, "Huh?
Huh?
Yeah, you're just like you did, huh?"
Huh?
So I went ahead and I did it. I'm sitting here squatting, holding a camera, pulled up my shirt, held it with my chin, which now I have 3 because I'm holding it with my chin, and start rubbing my belly like a Buddha. She looks at me, her eyes dilate, and she comes all over the floor.
I start to hear her get like reaching that point where she's going to climax, and I look over, and out of the left side of my eye, I see my husband rubbing his belly, going, "Yeah, baby," like just
rubbing all over
rubbing,
the floor. I mean, she's
getting
shit.
off, and I'm like, I don't know what life this is right now, but I'm so happy it's mine, and I'm a part of this.
Who the fuck are you telling?
I
My bulbous
can't
ass is
make
having a
this
playmate
shut
get off looking at my belly while I rub it. I've
won't
never
even-
seen anything like that in my life. I'm going to be first one to tell you that I've always had a little bit of self-consciousness about the fact that no matter, really, I make the joke that I need AIDS or cancer to have abs because it just, no matter what I do, it's never going to happen. And that happened. One of the hottest girls I've ever laid eyes on lost her shit because I was her jam. So what I'm telling you guys is not that everyone is going to find you their jam, but there's one out there. And if you're not there, you'll miss it.
Yeah,
It's true.
And part of it's just taking the risk, right?
Get there. Be there.
Yeah.
If you're not there, and you don't have to be a hardcore swinger to be there. We don't play with most of the people we meet.
That's true.
I think the thing to keep in mind, I know that each time I go to Hedo, I keep in mind that I'm probably not going to do anything.
We usually don't.
Right. So
How many pairs of
I don't
underwear have
even-
you left in
yeah.
the bathroom?
in
on the way to
Baltimore,
Hedo?
Washington International Airport, a lot.
Oh yeah.
One a trip.
That's one of the fucking
And
weirdest.
listen, people, it's not. I'm not shitting myself. It's
No,
just I
hopefully
just don't
not,
like
because we don't
wearing
have any way to
underwear.
wipe.
Which is funny because it's on brand for us, by the way. Just the mention of it in the show.
Yeah, if you
But
pull your underwear off, you're
I
going to rip your
love-
sleeves off.
I love. Please give our audience some clarity on why you take your underwear off in the airport.
Because I want to get because my pants will fall off, my shorts will fall off if I don't have underwear on when I go through security because I have to take my belt off. So once I get through security, I want to get rid of the underwear because I do not like having underwear on.
So do you just buy the paper underwear now?
No, this is it's legit underwear.
Do you choose the underwear because you know you're going to leave them in an airport?
No, I don't actually. I don't, but I have to get rid of them before the airplane ride.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and I don't
have
want.
you ever thought about taking them off on the airplane and leaving them in the pocket?
I probably could do that
because that
Yeah.
would be funny.
I'll do that next time.
Like somebody reaches for a barf
You
bag
know,
and pulls out a pair of fucking
I'll do
BBs.
that. I'll do that next time. Take a picture and tag you.
I was
in
gonna
it.
say
I'm
on
so
Southwest,
excited.
it's not assigned seating. No, fucking no.
That's right. I don't know who it was. There's just a pair of Fruit of the Looms hanging out right
I
there.
kind of like leaving them in the bathroom for people to wander in and go, "What the fuck happened here?"
Oh, the first thing I'm gonna think is something. There was an accident.
mm-hmm.
100%.
All right, because our
And then I'm gonna hold
listeners,
my breath.
our listeners are incredibly inquisitive, and they're probably deeply interested in you
I'm really worried about where this is fucking
and
going.
your
but go
mentality.
ahead.
Why do you choose tidy whities over everything else?
Oh, I do not, and you've seen me in underwear. You know that I don't. So nice try.
I love how you looked at him and said he's seen you in underwear.
Because he's the one that made the fucking comment.
Okay, I'm just saying.
You both see me in it and out of underwear, so it doesn't fucking matter.
There
That's
we go.
true. We get naked a lot. That's kind of Hito's thing, right? We're naked. So down at Hito, we play a lot of games. And we've played a lot of games. We've dreamt up a lot of games.
There are a lot of games we left behind that
There's a fucking ton.
We
I wish
should
we could find the
revisit.
notebook.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
notebook's probably got some gems
That
in there.
notebook
It's got
has
a lot of
gold
gems in
in
it.
It's for nothing else for fodder and
Yeah.
banter.
What is your, and I'm going to run this around the room because Mallory, I know you probably have one. What's your favorite one that we played?
Putting us on the spot.
Yeah.
Jesus, you could have warned him. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, well, because I'm the guy with the mic.
Well,
I don't see anything.
I'm going to defer because we're going to go ladies first.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm gonna say
all right.
blowjob karaoke because there was that epic moment that we actually executed. Where do you remember the dude? Beautiful black man with his.
was
I don't
huge.
know if he was a girlfriend or his wife, but she had short dark hair and she was so fucking sexy. Like they both just oozed like kindness, and they were both extroverts. And it turns out this he could fucking sing.
Oh, yeah.
And the goal was for the girls to fuck them up so they couldn't sing the lyrics to the song. And he fucking one-upped the entire fucking pool by flipping her upside down. She was sucking his dick while the microphone laid between her ass cheeks. And he sang Freebird.
Yeah, he did.
And he
And-
sang
And
it
he sang it well.
like nobody's
Fucking,
Yeah.
It wasn't just good. It was great. It
Yeah.
was fantastic. While all of these other things were happening, and I don't know that I could recreate that moment
No.
ever again.
Like he was
Or
a
have-
tall CeeLo Green.
And
Yeah,
yes.
but like fit and just
Yeah.
oh my god, like they were incredibly sexy.
I've seen a
I-
lot of stuff, and I have. It's very rare that I'm slack jawed, but that moment I
Right?
was slack jawed.
Absolutely incredible. And I don't know who they are. If you are listening right now, please fucking message us
Please,
because
God.
I will remember you if I get Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Like
That was fun. That was so much fun. It was crazy. It was, blowjob karaoke was one we only played it 1 year, and it was the silliest, craziest fun game. I loved it.
And
I see why it's your favorite because it made our hearts so happy to see people singing their hearts out
we didn't know
while
how
they had a dick in someone's mouth, or vice versa, because she sang with his dick in her mouth.
Yes.
she did.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Just singing her heart out. I mean,
Yeah.
it was really, really good.
All right, I'm going to steal another one we've only done once, and I know it's one of your favorites, The Running of the Unicorns.
That's
Because it was so fucking
Oh my
ridiculous.
God, that was ridiculous.
It was maybe top 3 most ridiculous games
Yes.
they ever
Oh,
played, if not the
hilariously
top
stupid.
We
one.
completely took over the
But-
beach and the water for that.
Do you
there
remember?
was the pool was empty.
Yeah.
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 We owned the resort
Yeah,
for
we did.
30 minutes.
Yes.
We knew it was going to be hilarious when it was discussed on land before the trip.
Yes.
And we couldn't get full sentences out
No.
because we had to take breaths in between the riotous laughter to tell the next person what we were thinking and the imagery that it created for us.
Yes.
This is always like a group like mind meld and like think tank, which I probably shouldn't say think tank because it makes us sound
There was
way
not much
smarter
thinking,
than we
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was truly, truly, truly impressive. I
Yeah.
think that
Oiled
was-
up those unicorns and
And everybody else and
Yeah.
like, hey, let's go
I
on
love
the
the-
ocean.
I love the names of the unicorns because what we had
oh yes,
done.
I forgot about the
guys
names
forgot.
completely.
Majestic phallus?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Majestic phallus.
These two assholes are losing their shit now because they're remembering it. But so here's what happened. All right, so let me just back this truck up and give you a little bit of focus. So on Hedonism's beach side, you have a floating dock and you have a set of rocks that are basically separated by about 100
Totally
yards.
safe. with his sea urchins
totally
and
safe.
everything.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Very
and
safe.
the hammerhead that lives in the fucking bay there.
Hey, that hammerhead and I are cool. Let's not,
That hammerhead just attacked an eel that day.
no, it was an eagle ray.
Oh, an eagle ray, but one of those days.
Yeah, and I stood out there with him. I watched him. It was great. We had a good time. He and I are friends. Mallory was very upset.
You
We'll
and the
talk
creepy,
about that in another episode.
you and the creepy single dude out there.
That's right. It was just the two of us by ourselves with the shark.
Yeah, with a hat.
Me and a hat, a 4-foot top hat. and
Not
a
you with a
Santa
hat.
Claus
This
shark.
creepy
Do
single.
you remember him out
Yeah,
the
in the
ocean,
rain.
the floaty?
All right, these two have officially left for you had to be there territory.
Sorry.
But which is
I
bad for a
apologize.
podcast.
You're
you
right.
fucking assholes.
But these are the things you learn and get to experience when you go to Hedo. It's so random and so wonderful.
It is.
By all means, I
But
apologize.
Running of the Unicorns, when we did Running of the Unicorns the first time, one of the things that we had, so these are these 8-foot unicorn floaties,
Mhm.
and we had 4 of them, and we named them after people in our group. So we had Majestic Phallus, we had Yankee Jew, which was after our leader at the time.
Yes, we did.
His name was Yankee Jew. That's
It
what he
was.
was. It was the fucking horse's name. I'm not making it up.
But
It's true.
it's a story. You have to tell it.
Yeah, we had Surprise Anal.
Yeah, surprise anal. It was always in the rear.
It was always in the rear. Yeah, Surprise Anal never
The
won.
Washington Generals of unicorn races.
Yeah, right. So but the point was, I, as the MC with a giant speaker, is standing on the beach having to announce this entire thing over a loudspeaker with a microphone.
Literally for 7 Mile Beach, people from Sandals were like, what the hell
What
is
the
going on
fuck?
over there?
That's right. Like, oh, he fell off the unicorn and Surprise Anal's taking up the rear. Yeah, yeah, it was just fucking, it was a riot. It was so much fun because these people greased up like, I mean, literally, like they had
Oh.
fallen off the Exxon Valdez
I
and they
was
had to climb
charged-
back on.
Yeah. So we had to grease up. So me and the other rascalettes were charged with greasing up the humans and greasing up the unicorns. And like, there was no crevice unturned.
There was definitely a few points. There were definitely a few points where we looked at each other and went, "Oh, that's too much."
Yeah.
And you
But
know
it
what?
was still
It's
still
like
perfect.
ketchup. If some's good, more's better.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like when we come up with these games for these trips that we do, if it's too much, it's perfect.
Exactly.
Like
Yep.
that's when we're like, oh,
Yep.
yeah, we're doing that. And I love it. And I think it's a blast. And I think it was a good time. We loved it. Because I asked the two of you what your favorites were of all the things we did. My personal favorite was Scouts.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. There's a list there too that we've
Yeah.
wow.
There was
Yeah.
there was a lot of
There
abandoned.
was a lot that was turned
Left
away.
on the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Scouts were effectively was an opportunity for every person to really kind of encapsulate and enjoy everything that Hedo offers.
Yeah.
Whether
It
you're a
was-
swinger or not.
And it was great for newbies and veterans, whether you've been to Hedo once or 10
Yes.
times. It didn't matter. Like, I love that it was relevant to everyone. That was a lot of fun.
It was. And I tell you what, there's people that went fucking crazy for it.
People got super fucking competitive.
They
Very
did.
competitive.
They
So
went
competitive.
Crazy for it. They really did. To the point where at one point, you know, our friends were considering giving away, I think, a free trip for the people that won the whole fucking thing. Because it was a lot.
It was immersive.
It was a lot. But I mean, everything from finding the hidden hot tubs to having a 3-way to, you know, taking a facial. And you had to bring evidence back so you could get your merit badge.
And we saw a lot of pictures. A lot,
of pictures.
There was some really, really cool shit
Dude,
about that.
we had shows going on in the balconies like above us from the
Yep.
beach. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Public
Yeah.
exhibitionism.
Yep.
That was one of
Yeah.
the merit badges.
Yeah.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I like that one. Yeah. Cause it forced is a bad word, but it
Encouraged.
it encouraged you to get out and see everything that Hedo had to offer.
That's
was-
right.
I was
And it
gonna-
wasn't just
yeah.
sex.
I mean, yeah, go play tennis with a tennis pro.
That's it.
Yeah.
Go play
That kind
tennis
of
with a
thing.
tennis pro.
Yeah.
Find the pickleball courts. You know, find the hidden hot tubs. I mean, there were 2 levels of scouts, right? You could be a regular old, like, I'm a good scout, or you could be, I'm a fucking dirty horse scout.
Yeah.
You know, and it was
It's
fun.
at scale.
It was really, really cool. And for me, I feel like that was my, at least in terms of the one, like when I sat down and started scribbling on your deck,
Mhm.
that was my magnum opus. I was like, this was the one.
I'm trying to remember how that even came about, but it, yeah.
Oh man,
Because
good
once
luck.
it started,
It snowballed like a motherfucker.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
It was good
most
shit.
conversations on
Oh
that
yeah,
deck.
like most
Yeah.
conversations.
Till we got
Good
cold and went
times.
inside.
Yeah. Well.
And then you went to bed and yelled at us for talking too loud. 'cause
Yeah,
you're
that's a whole
fucking
different
old.
day, but yeah, your memory's shot because of your concussion, so whatever.
Yeah, he thinks he only had 6.
Yeah.
Ask him.
Yeah.
So to put a pin in this thing, because we're coming up on the end
thank God, I
of
have
our
to pee
hour,
so bad.
and we still have whiskey of the month ahead of us, so we got to get into that. But our Hedo trip is really reflective of who we are. We are Casual
I
Swinger.
hope so. That's the plan.
We're not any
Yeah.
one thing. We're all of you. Casual Swinger is a reflection of you. Whoever you are listening right now, whether you have questions, confidence, misconceptions, or inadequacy concerns, that's all of us. We're all Casual Swinger on some level or another. And that's what this episode's about, and that's kind of where we're going with season 5. We're coming into this thing with eyes wide open, knowing that we're not going to do everything right. We're not going to do everything wrong. We're not going to get it right or wrong or perfect. We're going to do our best, and we're going to be here for you. We're going to offer the best we can offer with casual toys. We're going to offer the best we can offer with a trip to a place that we love, to encourage you to have some experiences like the ones we've talked about here on the show today. Because not everybody is necessarily a rabid, wild swinger. Some of us are casual.
You know what? Though, if you are, by all means,
Rock
still
the fuck
come.
on. Yeah.
You can still be casual about it.
And
Yeah, you can still be you can be a hoe on the down low.
Yep.
no,
Unlike Mallory.
what is that supposed to mean?
You're blasting it out there. You're good.
Oh yeah, we did get the billboard. That's right.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's right
Yeah.
on I-75.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. I think it's going to be awesome. I love what we got coming to season 5. And frankly, I love that we finally got this goddamn trip off the ground. We have, let's see, where do we have left right now? We have 35 rooms left right now.
Okay.
35 rooms. And
right.
it's going to be,
That's potentially 70 new friends we haven't met yet.
yeah.
Unless someone has a double occupancy a room. I mean,
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, or we get some triads, because we've had triads on our trips.
We have actually. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
We could have a lot of things.
Mhm.
You could meet 2 chicks that think you're the cat's meow, dude.
that's far and few between, but okay.
You could meet 2 guys. You're going to Key West.
No, I'm not. Yeah, okay. Anyway, you turned that one around on me. Nice.
Dude, fucking judgment-free zone. Possibilities are endless.
Yeah, do you.
What
It's
is what
okay.
we're saying.
I'll pay double occupancy.
Hey everybody,
Anyway.
this has been an absolute blast. Stack, we respect the living fuck out of what you do with
Amen.
the things we all carry, and I encourage everyone that's listening to this episode. I know we've had some fun after the fact, and that was quite on purpose, I assure you, because what he does talk about is heavy, but it needs to be talked about. It needs to be heard. If you have a friend that's a
Yeah.
firefighter, a first responder, a veteran,
Your neighbor, your brother, your sister, your friend,
share
Your
that
uncle.
share that podcast with them, because it matters, and it's going to matter to them in ways that you don't understand, because we're not one of them.
Moreover, if you're a first responder, you know one that has a story to tell, please reach out. It can be cathartic for everybody, but it can be cathartic for you to tell that story. And I'm always looking for people to share a story or just have a conversation with me. So they can, like I said, they can reach me on the website, they can reach me on Instagram, or they can just reach out to my story at thethingsweallcarry.com.
There you go.
Love
And
it.
because we've run a little long, we are going to come back in just a hot second with the whiskey of the month. But we're not going to tell you how to find us at the end of that. So I'm going to let Mallory do it now so we don't have to do it later. Mallory, tell everybody how to find us.
Again, but this time with feeling.
Oh, all the feelings, just rub yourself slowly and lightly while you do it. Oh, there we go.
All right. So we are Casual Swinger everywhere. You can find us at casualswinger.com. Feel free to shoot us a message at podcast@casualswinger.com. We are also on social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And you can find us on the dating sites. It's Double Date Nation, SDC, SLS, and Cassidy.com.
That'll do it. We'll be back in just a second with August's Whiskey of the Month. You've been listening to Casual Swinger.
Joke's on you. I drank it all.
All right, folks, welcome back to Casual Swinger. This is still Mickey.
And I'm Mallory. Hi.
Yeah, and this is actually a couple of days after we recorded the segment you just
Yeah,
heard.
we had to dry out. We drank all of the whiskey while our friend was in town.
Yeah, it was getting unruly how much whiskey I think we imbibed while he was here. But
Yeah, I was to celebrate Whiskey of the Month, I think.
not such a bad
No?
thing. Now, and you know what? We got some really cool news that actually, since we recorded the episode, that we can actually include in the episode.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which is we're going to Bourbon and Beyond.
I know. I'm so excited.
They reached out, and it was an opportunity for me to speak at the event, which is really, really cool. I'm fucking honored, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, but this is for your vanilla job, not for this. So, like...
Yeah. Well, but it was because of my whiskey background that I was asked to do it by the company.
It's so freaking cool.
Yeah, it was really, really neat. So I'm pretty jacked. I get to talk in front of 62 distilleries.
And I just get to hang out because I live a charmed life, I guess. No, it's fucking amazing. Like, even if I didn't have the ability to go, like, I'm excited for you. I know how passionate you are about the subject. And it's just, that's got to be like a bucket list thing you didn't know was a bucket list thing.
Well, I've never been to Bardstown. So this is like going to church, right? This is going home. So I'm really excited, and we're flying into Louisville, which I got to buy our tickets after this is over.
Yeah, we probably should do that. We have to get there somehow.
Yeah, but this event is so popular that we're probably going to end up having to stay in Louisville because Bardstown's not that big. I think the hotels are pretty much packed. So
yeah, I can imagine that. But I'm excited.
Whatever. It's still going to be awesome. Really excited. Really excited to go out there and do that. So that's fun. But hey, in the meantime.
Let's get to the point here, man.
Yeah, we're here for Whiskey of the Month. So, hey, Starry, what time is it?
Candy is dandy, but whiskey makes you frisky.
All right. So this Whiskey of the Month for August 2022 is George Dickel Barrel Select.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is, and Dickel is just fun to say.
Yeah, you love the Dickel.
I do love the Dickel.
Tickle the Dickel. That's your thing.
So George Dickel is another storied brand of American whiskeys with a very cool, complicated past and present, but still presents an exceptional value to whiskey enthusiasts nationwide, with their juice being both affordable and widely available. Because remember, that's a ticket, right? It has to be under $50 and available in at least 40 states.
Yep.
Which I think we struggled with a little bit with Nearest Green.
However,
I don't
think it's available anywhere.
Yeah, I know. I think it was such a cool story, though, so we went off brand just because of that. I digress. So the story of this whiskey of George Dickel brand is made most interesting by the fact that, unlike most of the other stories we've told, George Dickel didn't get famous for making whiskey. He was famous for selling it.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Sales guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's he, and we're going to get into it in a second, but he literally owned a store selling another brand of whiskey, and that's how he got famous. And his name was kind of attached to the brand, after his death, really. But we'll talk about that in a minute. George Dickel was actually born in Germany in 1818. So he immigrated to the United States, fairly early on in his life in 1844. And he started his own small business and started selling spirits in 1861. Well, after the conclusion of the Civil War, he grew his business into exclusively offering liquor. And by that, I mean he bought it from local regional distillers and started distributing it in jugs, barrels, and bottles. He took on several partners in his resale business over the years, including a couple of family members, and a lot of them have some very German names, so I'm not going to mess with them right now.
So he created like a 2-tiered distribution model.
He did.
Wow.
He was distributing whiskey in Kentucky. So anyway, he formed a partnership with a group known as Cascade Whiskey. Now, Cascade Whiskey was known for its tagline, "Mellow as Moonlight," and that was for their tendency to cool the mash at night, which is actually something that my grandfather and great-grandfather used to do as well. Mm-hmm. They said that the mash cooled more evenly in the evening. So it's kind of a thing that I think survived, long after that. But anyway, Dickel and his partners soon became the sole distribution network for Cascade until his death in 1894, when his shares in the business were willed to his wife, Augusta. When she died in 1916, she willed it to her brother, Victor Schwab, who was already a longtime partner of her husband's. Now, he fought vehemently against the rising calls for prohibition in Tennessee, spending thousands of his own dollars, which in today dollars, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. But he spent it lobbying against legislation that would curtail the sale of spirits, ultimately nationwide. Tennessee's passing of Prohibition in 1910 forced them to relocate Cascade Distillery to the Stitzel Distillery in Louisville, Kentucky, until Kentucky passed their own Prohibition in 1917. Once nationwide Prohibition set in 1920, the brand was no more, at least for now.
Wow. So in 1937, 4 years after the repeal of Prohibition, Schwab's heirs sold the brand to Schenley Distilling Company, which had to track down 2 former distillers from Cascade to get the recipe, since nobody actually ever wrote it down.
Yeah, that should happen all the time back then, by the way.
In the coming 40s and 50s, Schenley produced their own whiskey, naming it George A. Dickel's Cascade Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. That's such a mouthful.
Isn't it?
Right?
The Dickel is a mouthful.
Yeah, I see what you did there. I like it. Later in 1956, Shenley tried to buy Jack Daniels, but was rebuffed. So his natural reaction was to get busy and compete against Jack Daniels by returning to Tennessee in 1958 and reestablishing the Cascade Hollow Distillery in Coffee County, Tennessee. Like many other whiskeys hailing from the region, this whiskey uses Uncle Nearest's Lincoln County process for distilling spirits, owing its sweet palate to maple charcoal it's poured over. So there we go. We're tying it in.
Kind of neat. It kind of ties into last month's Whiskey of the Month. That Lincoln County process is used by a lot of different whiskeys,
Yeah, they are.
as it turns out.
I didn't know that, by
No.
the way. That's something I genuinely learned. So,
you know, this is kind of a fun way for us to learn more about the thing we're passionate about, too. But, you know, today, to this day, George Dickel Barrel Select is still made in Cascade Hollow.
oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so,
Yeah?
and even though they're owned by Diageo, you know, which is pretty much the largest, you know,
I was
liquor
going to say
company on the
Diageo
planet.
is the big name in the room.
Yeah, they're it, right? They're the Apple of liquor. But anyway, in 1964, the first bottles of George Dickel Tennessee whiskey rolled out of the distillery. You can see that's some time, right? Because in 1956, Shenley tried to buy Jack Daniels, and it wasn't until 1964 he had his own whiskey ready to go. That's because whiskey takes time to age, folks.
Right.
So once you make a decision to get into whiskey, that's a decision you make about 10 years in the future of your life,
Yeah.
which is exactly what happened to the guys with George Dickel. Now, that whiskey rolled out of the distillery, him choosing to use Dickel's name primarily because Cascade's reputation was for being an inexpensive whiskey.
Okay. So today, the brand and distillery are owned by multinational mega corporations, Diageo, like you mentioned. But the roots, confusingly interesting history remain with George Dickel being a legend in Tennessee whiskey, despite never actually making any.
I just think that's kind of neat, right?
Yeah.
That when you go to the liquor store, there's probably 5 different expressions of Dickel up there. Kind of like Old Forester, kind of like Old Elk, and a few others that just have a lot of different expressions. And you don't realize where these names of these brands come from. Brands that we've talked about, like Elijah Craig, Jack Daniel, Michter's, right? Some of these brands and the names that and the stories behind them are as old as America, if not older.
Yeah.
So it really is kind of neat. So George Dickel Barrel Select, the whiskey is 43% alcohol by volume.
So not hot, not terribly hot at all.
Not terribly hot, which means it's a very drinkable whiskey. It's aged 10 to 12 years. So the neat part about the Barrel Select, and this is a cool thing that's exclusive to this bottle, they select 10 barrels, and that's what all the bottles come from, those 10 barrels. So that run comes from 10 exclusively selected barrels that were selected to blend together, and they are somewhere between 10 and 12 years. So the age statement's a little fuzzy, but at the same
That's
time,
still
it's
a
cool.
nicely aged whiskey. When you see a lot of these young ones on the shelf that are 6 and 7 years old.
Well, that's just it. When you look at the price point for this whiskey,
Very
for a 10 to 12 year whiskey
Yeah.
that's not, it's not sourced, this is actually their whiskey. It's a great deal at $47.99.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's a screaming deal in whiskey, and it actually tastes good. There's the whiskey guys that I know, because a lot of times when we pick a whiskey of the month, the whiskey guys I know give me a hard time about it.
Yeah, and I think it's strange, not strange, but a little off-brand for you, because the mash in and of itself is 84% corn, 8% rye, 8% malted barley, and you usually like a higher rye blend.
I do. I like it a little spicier. This is going to be a little more oak forward, right? It's going to be a little more of a traditional bourbon. So the eye, when I talk about eye, I'm talking about what does it look like in your glass? It's got a dark caramel color with a hint of yellow.
Yeah, and on the nose, the descriptions run, around, it's a very rounded, sweet when it starts off. Maybe you get some caramel, vanilla, toffee, and corn. Corn's a very nice, leveling flavor in there.
Yeah, it's mellow.
And sifting up through the corn husks in this glass are notes of sweet taffy, cherries, butterscotch, definitely oak, and maybe just a hint of citrus in there. In the back, it's got a bit of an astringency that makes it a little sharp. It kind of pops from time to time, but not a consistent factor.
Yeah, so where you'll get that astringency, and what we mean by astringency is it smells like alcohol.
Yeah.
Right? And so where you'll get that is if you swirl it. So if you have a Glencairn and you swish it, that's when it'll hit you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of how you pull that kind of nose out of it. Now, as far as taste goes, it definitely is caramel forward, but the corn comes in close behind it. Through those waves of caramel and corn are notes of vanilla and oak and clove, and even a little rye, despite it being a fairly low rye content. There's a little bit of a spice milling about in the background. Could be a number of things, maybe fennel. It's hard to say, actually, when you get all these different flavors. But playing with a little bit of a hint of mint, actually. So bringing the whole thing together as a char that tastes a little bit like toasted marshmallows.
I want to be a marshmallow. I've been watching way too much TikTok.
You really have.
And the feel and the description, soft and creamy, that has a refined aspect to it, meaning it's smooth. It's an easy drinker. It's an easy drinker.
It's a 10-year. It's going to be. So the finish, not surprisingly, because it's caramel forward, tastes a lot like caramel, vanilla, and a little bit of cinnamon, which fade back to that corn and that oak as you exhale through your mouth after ingesting this fine George Dickel Barrel Select Whiskey of the Month for Casual Swinger, August 2022.
Yeah, and that's a fucking wrap, dude.
That's
season 4, the longest season of our lives.
The season that never ends.
Yeah, it's concluded, and we come back. We're out and proud and putting our faces out there. And
yeah, the episode art for this is our faces. I mean, it's legit.
Yeah,
Like, boom, faces.
That's us. Hi.
I should have just used your boobs. That's all anybody wants to see.
Well, they
anyway.
can see that anyways. I always showed I was never scared to show my boobs.
That's awesome.
But we're going to take a little time off before we come back. And do you think we'll be recording before or after our Hedo trip in October?
I think we got to get at least the first episode of the season out because we have Casey Donatello joining us.
True.
So we got to get that out of the way.
She's amazing. I'm super excited to have her on.
She's got so much going on. She's going to have a lot to talk about when she joins us
Cool
for
lady.
episode 1 of season 5, Faces Out and all that good shit.
Yeah.
All right, you want to tell everybody bye-bye? We'll see you guys in season 5.
Yeah. Ass down, face up.
That's right.
I'm looking at you, Derek. All right. We are Casual Swinger everywhere. Feel free to reach out to us at podcast@casualswinger.com. Check out our website for details on all our podcasts and other information. There's a great amount of resources on our website. If you haven't checked it out, it's casualswinger.com. We're on social media as Casual Swinger. That is Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And you can find us on the dating sites, which are SLS, SDC, Double Date Nation, and Cassidy.
That'll do it, folks. That's a wrap on season 4. Hope you had fun. We'll see you here in a few weeks with a kickoff to season 5. You've been listening to Casual Swinger.
Love you. Bye.